Can you hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you, Tiffany.
All right. Did Heather go over the report?
No, not yet.
I'm going to text her that I'm going to run the meeting.
I said, did Heather go over the report?
Not yet.
She can't hear you. Tiffany cannot hear us, so I am texting her.
She can hear me, but she can't hear me. Okay.
Okay. So let's go over the report.
I'm just waiting for it to load. Okay, so here's the P&L. Let me share my screen.
And Lisa, you can feel free to feed me lines in terms of just moving the meeting along.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Not yet. We see, it says Heather Campbell has started screen sharing, but there's nothing on the screen.
Okay, here we go.
There you go.
Okay, so here's the P&L. This is through April of 2021, comparing it against a year ago. You'll notice that there was not a lot of the lease income hadn't come in a year ago at this time. I think that was possibly COVID related, but we did get it before the end of the year. So you can see our income right now is the lease income from Hudson Terrace. The administration and service fees, this is the 1/3 of the fee from 620 Union Street, which we received this year. And then interest income of $33.32 to date. And then we have the pilot income, which is the Hudson Terrace pilot amount. That was $184,689,000, which was about $13,500 more than the prior year. And to date, we have charged $800 against legal fees. That would be for general legal fees, nothing related to any of the application reviews, because those are captured and paid out of an escrow account. So that doesn't show up on the P&L, that'll show up on the balance sheet. And it looks like we have not hit 2021 yet with the admin fees for CEDC. I believe the last one that we paid was through December of last year. So that will be hitting next month. Any questions?
I have a general question. It's not about the particular P&L. I have a general question. This is Richard Wallace. When you show pilot income on a balance sheet, is that city tax revenue, and it shows up as city tax revenue too? I'm just curious how pilot income tracks between the balance sheet for HIDA and the city tax assessor.
Yeah, okay, that's actually a really good question, and probably as easy to answer by moving to the balance sheet itself. So let me do that. So basically what happens, and you'll see it reflected here, in terms of the pilot payouts, I actually have not set it up yet, but so what happens is we get the pilot payment in, and IDA holds on to it. And then at the end of the year, the IDA distributes it in its entirety to the 3 taxing jurisdictions, which is the City of Hudson, the Columbia County, and the Hudson City School District. And those distributions are based on each taxing jurisdiction's proportion of the total tax levy across those three properties. So in other words, where it comes out roughly is that Hudson City School District gets about half of it because they account for about half of the total property taxes in the city of Hudson on any given property. We get about 29 or so %, and the balance goes to the county. And it's actually a really interesting thing because it's distributed that way, and because the Hudson City School District budget has gone up, you know, quite a bit from year to year. I think when I started, they were getting something like 38 or 42% of it, and now they're getting close to 50% of it because their proportion of the total tax levy is increasing at a faster rate than either the county or the city.
Right.
That makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense. That was a great explanation, and thank you very much, Lisa.
Oh, you are very welcome.
Heather.
So I don't know if we need to go into a lot of detail on this, but basically what this does is it breaks out the money that we have in escrow that we're holding for escrow versus the IDA cash money. That, of course, includes the pilot monies that will be distributed out. That will be reflected on next month's balance sheet as a liability here. And then you can also see that there's a liability here in terms of the amount of money that's being held in escrow. And the reason why those two numbers don't match is because there is a significant amount of bills that have been put in the system that are directly related to those project applications. So they're in the system, so they're hitting against the escrow account, but they haven't actually been written as checks yet. And once they're written as checks, then that money will be removed out of the escrow funds amount as well. So that's
Right.
basically how we're checking the escrow. And yeah, and that's where we are to date.
I have tried to tie in our chair by phone. Tiffany, are you there? She got cut off again, so hold on one moment.
So unless anybody has any objections, I'm going to stop screen sharing.
Mhm.
Here.
Go ahead, Madam Chair.
Hey, Tiffany.
Hi, I'm listening.
They just finished the treasurer's report, and so the next item,
We do need to accept the minutes.
next item on the agenda is would be a motion to accept the minutes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Has everyone had a chance to go over the minutes before we take a motion to accept?
Yes.
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 With that being said, may I have a motion and a second to accept the minutes, please?
So moved.
So motion by Heather.
And a
A second.
second?
A second, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? A few hours, no one opposed, so we can move forward. Is there anything else that we need to do as far as the treasurer's report?
We do need to approve it.
With all the, I did not hear what was said, but if everyone accepts the treasurer's report, if there aren't any suggestions or questions, comments that need to be added, may I have a motion and a second to accept the treasurer's report?
So moved. John Cody.
I second it, Richard Wallace.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Anyone opposed? We are moving forward, accepting the treasurer's report. Is there anything else, Mike or Lisa?
Yes, next is the item is the contract extension between the Hudson IDA and Columbia Economic Development. For the information of some of the newer members in the public, CEDC had entered into an agreement back in February of 2017 to manage the IDA on its behalf. That contract expires on July 31st of 2021, and we're requesting a one-year extension to July 31st, 2022. The terms of the extension would be the same. We would be paid $10,000 a year to manage the administrative side of the IDA, and would receive 10% of an IDA fee on an individual project in connection with the work performed to bring that project to closing. If there are any questions, otherwise we respectfully request you extend the contract for 1 year.
I don't have any questions. Are there any questions from the board?
No questions, David.
No question.
Then let's move forward with accepting it. Do we need to make a motion to accept it?
Can I just ask one question before that?
Rebecca?
In the contract, I just wondered, is there a contract that lays out just like the duties?
Yes, it's and there was a contract extension in the packet,
Okay.
and we can send you the contract that you approved last year, which is the same. And
My only question about it has to do with the workforce development plan and whether there, at what juncture something needs to be included in the contract or about the development of that program.
I believe the contract is general enough that we will perform tasks at your direction. So I don't know that it would, we certainly could add it in the future, but I don't know that it would significantly enhance it by singling it out here. It's a contract is for general services that are required by the ABO, the state, the city, and the members of the agency.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And with that clarification, can we move forward with the vote of the motion? I believe we had a motion. Is that correct?
I believe you need a motion, Madam Chair.
Okay, I thought we had one. May I have a motion to accept moving forward with the extension of this contract?
I'll make that motion, Rebecca.
I'll second,
May I
John.
have a- Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. We certainly appreciate it and look forward to continuing with you as your administrative representative. The other items on the agenda, quickly, Madam Chair, was 620 Hudson House. There is no update to share with you. I did see David Kessler over there the other day with a group of people going through the building. The next item is Pocketbook Factory Building. We understand that they are beginning their planning board process, and as they get further along in that process, I anticipate that they would submit an application. The next item are the 708 State Street project and the 75 North 7th Street projects by the Galvin Foundation. Just a brief report. We did move forward with BJH Associates, the advisory firm, to do a review of the pilot proposal by the developer. We did send, they did send to us last week significant discussion of, or significant list of data and financial information, which I sent to Galvin, and I spoke with Dan Kent this morning, and he's putting it all together with no questions or concerns. I'm reading from the scope of work. The purpose of the review is to establish that the proposed pilot structure requested by the developer for each of the projects is necessary to meet standard financial underwriting hurdles. If the proposed pilot structure delivers returns that appear to be excessive in this environment or this type of project being contemplated, they will suggest alternative pilot structures for the IDA to consider. As part of its review, they will examine the following information, all to be provided by the developer: 10-year discounted cash flow, pro forma budget, construction budget, market analysis, income assumptions, proposed pilot payments compared to full taxes, other expense assumptions, financing assumptions, and the development materials necessary to establish the but-for argument necessary for the IDA to consider the proposal. So I think that you will be satisfied with this report. I would ask for a motion to approve proceeding with them, recognizing that the developer is responsible for the payment of their fees.
May I have a motion for to exactly what Mike just stated, please?
I'll make that motion, Heather.
I'll second it.
Are there any questions before I ask if we're all in favor? Are there any questions? Then let's move forward. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. They have indicated that once they get the information from Galvin, which we expect by midweek, it will take them 2 to 3 weeks to complete their report. We will then have them present it to you. And then once that is finalized, you can schedule the public hearing that you approved last meeting.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, that concludes the administrative report and the absent other items that you may have to discuss with the agency under new business. We would go to public comment.
Oh, I did want to introduce something.
Who is speaking? Who is speaking?
Rebecca, sorry.
Rebecca, you would like to make a comment on under new business?
Yes, new business. Yeah. I just wanted to bring up a question about our board's membership, in that we have one member, namely the city assessor, who is not participating and has never participated. And I'm just wanting to basically bring this up for discussion about how we might remedy the situation of having a non-participating member of the IDA.
It may be just a case of when the meetings are scheduled, because she only works 3 days a week, and I don't believe that Tuesdays are one of her days that she works for the city.
Right, okay. Well, I guess maybe the first thing we could do would be to find out if that's the case. I mean,
yeah, I spoke to her last week. She was actually supposed to attend this meeting, but she had a prior arrangement, so she couldn't attend this meeting. So I'm guessing she will be attending the future meetings.
Have you reached out to this individual?
I've communicated with her about other things, but I never have asked her. I mean, my assumption was that if she had any desire to attend the IDA meetings, that she would have asked, that we change the time or something like that. But
well, maybe you should have a conversation with her first, because it seems like the other board members have, and it sounds like the mayor stated that she was going to attend this meeting, but I guess something came up. So maybe reach out to her first, and then she emails the board, and then we can take it from there if we have to reschedule or if she'll attend the next meeting.
Sure. I guess I've spoken about this, extensively with the rest of the IDA at times. So I'm surprised if it's just being solved suddenly, but that's cool. but yeah, okay.
I don't think anyone stated that it's cool. I think, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like the other members actually reached out to the person specifically on about the IDA and attending. And from what I'm hearing, the mayor stated she was supposed to attend today, but something must have came up. So I'm just asking Rebecca, since you brought this up, to reach out to her and ask her to extend her conversation with the board through email so the board will know if we need to change the date and time of our meetings or move forward with a new person.
I'm happy to do that for the board.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Mike?
I think, Council Member Rebecca, I think you had another item you wanted to bring up. Councilwoman Wolf.
Okay.
Sure. So I've been talking with some consultants who work with IDAs on issues around basically, I don't know if it falls under the governance heading, but process basically of helping IDAs develop rubrics by which they can judge proposals. And so Mike and I have spoken both with a couple of a pair of consultants who work with cities and also they work with nonprofits and community groups as well. And so we would like to present, Mike, am I presenting this to the board?
No, I think basically you had reached out to them and then contacted me for information. I sent them information on various IDA. We did a survey of IDAs in the immediate region and also in some of the more IDAs that do a lot more business than we do. And we came up with 2 or 3 of these type of charts where you can evaluate projects in a more less ad hoc basis. So housing projects were already had a template so that if you were a housing developer, you knew what the agency might be willing, what their uniform policy for housing was. And if you wanted a deviation from that, you would make a proposal. Industrial properties, you know, at the county, we have a different structure. Hold on a moment. I think we lost the chair again.
Oh, and the idea overall, as with everything that the city, you know, needs to do, is to have a plan in place.
My recommendation would be that since they only got back to you with a copy to me today, that the governance committee take this up and review it, and then with the chair's permission, have them make a presentation to the agency.
You were there.
Anthony? For some reason, I'm not able to add her again. Let me try it this way. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Can you, can everyone hear her?
Yep.
I'm here.
Okay, what Rebecca was discussing was this idea of looking at a governance model that would streamline the various types of projects with respect to the agency's feelings about pilots. So one that might be appropriate for housing, one for industrial projects, one for commercial projects. Right now, you only have one model. The county, for instance, the county IDA has an industrial pilot, which is 95% the first year down to 0 and 10, rather than your 50% down to 0. The city of Albany has a project matrix for housing projects, 25 years with $675 per unit, escalating at 2%. So there's a whole array of things, and really the purpose, I believe, Rebecca, was to raise awareness for this agency as to what some of the practices are at other IDAs, and then see if there was anything that you wanted to incorporate into your uniform policies.
Right. It also, I mean, is a way to allow the city to define like its goals around development and what community benefits we're looking for, because that is one of our jobs when we're negotiating pilots, is to get community benefits in exchange for the tax break. So it's a way that, you know, it allows the cities to create like a rubric of what are our goals within reason. You know, I mean, it's a balancing process, but that's one of the important things that it can do as well.
Madam Chair, when we lost you on the call, I suggested that you might want to refer this to the governance committee to evaluate and determine what to present at a future meeting.
Thank you. Let's do that.
Great. Again, I think it's useful to go through this process and the overall governance, because I do believe that there will be significant more development opportunities in the city. I think this is exactly the situation that we're in now is exactly what we discussed when I first recommended to the IDA that it not dissolve as suggested by the state, to let the county IDA take over. And I think the goal was to move forward through the development projects that were on the table to a point where you are now, where between many of the projects that are already interested in IDA funding, but also you'll have One Hudson Avenue, you have the CAS site, you have other developers looking at renovation and restoration. So I think that streamlining it a bit will help everyone from having both the developer and the agency from looking at each project de novo as a one-off. So I think this is all good, but I think there's a lot of policy questions that each of you will want to ask as this evolves. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I agree. Thank you. Is there anything else? Board members, are there anything else? Is there anything? I can't, my computer shut down. I can't see the agenda, but is everything on?
The last thing, Madam Chair, would be public comment, and I do see a number of members of the public here today.
Okay, if there aren't any more questions, comments from the board, we will start taking public comments. And I would ask someone from the board that can see the public, please direct those comments, because I can't see anyone. Thank you.
So far, no. Are there any questions from the public about anything? Nope, doesn't look like it.
Well, if there aren't any questions from the public and the board seems to be okay, then I will ask for a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved, John.
Thank you. I have a second to that motion to adjourn.
I second the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Thank you. Anyone opposed? Motion to adjourn. If not, motion carries. Meeting is over at 1:36. Everyone have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Everybody.